we should be live. So, hey guys, Locked on Blue Jackets. It's Friday night. We're gonna have some fun. Hayden's got a beer. I've got a hard cider, and we've got some questions from you guys. Let's have some fun with it.
You're Locked On Blue Jackets, your daily podcast on the Columbus Blue Jackets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey guys, Jay Foster, Locked on Blue Jackets here. Got Hayden Heilsund, the other half of Locked on Blue Jackets. And like I said, it's Friday night. We're going to have a little bit of fun. It's not going to be super serious. I've got a bunch of questions from some wonderful listeners. How's it going, Hayden? You are in a different background.
Yeah, if you haven't figured it out by now, I'm at the hockey rink. It's a happy hour, and the happiest place that I am is at the rink. So I figured I would come here, got my little cooler, got my, my nice beverage, and yeah, I'm just sitting here willing to chat about hockey with you, Jay. Let's get it going. I mean, we have plenty of stuff to get to already, people sending us stuff in, but I didn't know which way you wanted to go with this. I mean, there's tons to talk about.
Yeah, let's start off with just kind of, it's been kind of a quiet week news-wise for the Blue Jackets. Is there anything that is kind of that you think is waiting in the wings that you're super excited to talk about in a little bit? When the news breaks, basically, is there anything that you're like, yes, I can't wait to cover this on the podcast?
I mean, there's been some heat around like an Adam Boqvist trade or like a Jack Roslovic trade. Like those are two kind of players that we've known could be on the move this offseason. So instantly right there, I'm waiting to see what Jarmo's going to do to move those guys around, if he even does do that. Again, those are just rumors that we've heard. As every day goes by, I obviously get less and less optimistic that a trade is going to happen because it's just how it goes. Another storyline I'm really excited about is just the opening night, man. I feel like, once we got the schedule, we haven't really taken the time to break down the schedule and go through it. I think that could be fun sometime. But opening night is Blue Jackets and Flyers, man. It's Mike Babcock and John Tortorella. Like the overload on testosterone that game is going to be.
The quotes are going to be tremendous, if nothing else. I hope that John Tortorella doesn't try and get in the Blue Jackets locker room to fight anyone, but I feel like the chances of that are not zero. But yeah, Blue Jackets Flyers is a big storyline, I feel like, especially with the Ivan Provorov trade. He's probably going to be in the lineup unless, something really drastic happens in the next little bit. But it's going to be interesting. I'm glad that it's a division rival as opposed to, I feel like sometimes the home openers are a little bit kind of meh. But this one should be, like, I feel, what was it? Was this year St. Louis? I feel like maybe I'm making that up, but
the home opener,
especially because both teams I feel like are probably on a level, and it's not like the home opener last year was like Tampa Bay, right? And then everyone was like, "Well, this is bad because they're they were the reigning Cup champions or whatever." But it's gonna be a fun one, I think.
Yeah, and we just found out that you're coming to a game. I mean, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but you're coming potentially to a game in October. That should be very, very fun. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, it's going to be an exciting year, man. I mean, I'm kind of stressing out already about trying to get tickets for each game because, the spike in attendance from, 2021 to 2022 or after the offseason, once we got Johnny Gaudreau, the spike in attendance was crazy. Like it got so much harder to buy a ticket. And I'm already betting it's going to be the same exact way after the Jackets drafted Fantilli, brought in a new coach, made several big moves to bolster the defense. Yeah, it's going to be one of the wildest years as a Blue Jackets fan. That is for sure, especially for anybody that's been a longtime fan, because there's going to be tons of new bandwagon fans coming around. There's going to be tons of nationally televised Jackets games, which will be weird. That's a really weird thing for the Blue Jackets.
I'm a big fan of, I think everyone should enjoy the sport. And I hate when people try and like gatekeep it and say, no, you don't like it, right? This is not for you, It does feel weird I want to almost be like, no, this is like our team. It's our like well-kept secret, but I do think a lot about how when I first started going to Jackets games, it was with my best friend who was at OSU at the time, and we paid $25 each for lower bowl center ice tickets. It's the dream. And unfortunately, the team got good. Not unfortunately for my wallet, the team got good. And even, when the team's bad, I think a really big thing that surprised a lot of people, they were selling out on like a random Tuesday against a random West Conference team. Like I spent part of the season in just outside San Jose, because that's where my partner lives, and watching a lot of Sharks games. Because again, we paid like $20 for Sharks tickets. It was great. They were really struggling with attendance to the point where like we would turn up on a Saturday night and the place would be like 2/3 full. And then you hear about people in Columbus that are going and, they've got 22,000 people packed into that building to watch them get curb stomped by Arizona, So people say Columbus is not a hockey town, but Columbus is definitely, it's well on its way to becoming a hockey town, I think.
Oh gosh. Yeah. I mean, I'm here at Chiller Easton, but the last couple weeks, Chiller North has had a really busy one, having the development camp, which has consistently been at Chiller North, but every single year, more and more people have gone out to that thing. And then I even went out to the Cap City Elite game, which is the game that has a couple of the current Blue Jackets players. It's the Summer League. And there was a good crowd for that one, too. And that was on a Tuesday at noon. Like, people should have been at work. But I should have been at work, and no,
right.
Instead,
people love the Blue Jackets, and it's I always call them my terrible subpar sons, which is a long running joke that with a friend of mine. But people love these guys. Let's go ahead and we've got a couple of questions in the chat, so if we answer those, and then we will move on to some of the questions that I really should have put in a list before starting this, and then instead of that, I took a nap. Because I'm in my 30s and it's Friday night. So I have got this very nice, it's a rhubarb and strawberry hard cider. It's super, super sour, which I like. And I am a big fan of anything that's super sour. And Hayden, it looks like you are drinking beer from a can, which I
just a fine Pilsner beer. Yep, just a fine, good old Pilsner beer is all I got. It's delicious. I'm not just here at the hockey rink dressed up in hockey gear because I love Locked On Blue Jackets. No, I am actually going to go on the.
He lives at the rink. That's what this is. And the other thing is a fake backdrop that he puts in for episodes, so it looks like he has an apartment, but actually he just kind of lives in the rink.
Yes, and it's Friday night's happy hour. I'm letting my hair down a little bit, feeling relaxed. You know me. But yeah, I'm actually hopping on the ice here in like 30 minutes, so that should be interesting. How many of these Pilsners I get through, and could turn into a sloppy mess. I mean, probably will, but that's why they call it beer league. Am I right?
Yeah, exactly. And I've told you this. I said this to Hayden just before we went live. I also play beer league hockey, and we have done a lot of experimenting in how much beer you can drink before your performance on the ice gets impacted. And we figured it out. It's fully like 2.5 pints. Less if you have something that's a little higher percentage. Less if you have something like Guinness, which one of my teammates loves to drink before a game, which is brave, I think. But yeah, you could have like 2.5 pints before you start to like really get affected. So go nuts, like you say, beer league. Fifth Line Fanatic questions for us and also loves my accent. Thanks, Fifth Line Fanatic. I actually had a guy comment on the national show today saying that my opinions don't matter because I don't have the right accent, which is just very funny. Like, if you want to come for me for my hockey takes, that's fine. Go for it. I love when people come for me for my hockey takes, because then you can debate about it. You can't just be like, yo, this guy's English. You can't, you don't know anything about hockey. It's very funny to me. But first question. Hey guys, hope you're both doing well. I'm doing great. I think Hayden is also doing great. Do you think Jama has another move in the works? I've been hearing a lot about Boquist lately. I think Jama could package him with something else to get another center. What do you think about that? Hayden, why don't you go first on this one? Because I have a couple of thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, just right off the bat, I think Boquist is the guy that very clearly there's a lot of smoke around him, and when there's smoke, there's fire. I also think he's one of the most tradable guys, being it that he's only 22, I want to say. And he's a former first-round draft pick, and he has got plenty of potential. He's got plenty of potential, especially on his offensive game. To me, though, he's pretty much a winger playing defense. So I don't know if the Jackets really have value with him right now, and I don't know what kind of team would be looking for a high-end offensive defenseman like that.
I mean, I can think of at least one, and our friend JD Young from Locked On Sharks is in the chat tonight. They're trying to move Erik Karlsson. Someone's going to have to play defense for that team. Adam Boqvist is not Erik Karlsson, but he's better than Tony DeAngelo, which is the other defenseman that people are trying to connect to the San Jose Sharks at the minute. Shout out, by the way, to JD Young, Locked On Sharks, and Laura from Locked On Habs, who is here but can't comment and is making JD comment for her and also her butler. But okay, so my actual comment on Adam Boqvist is I feel way less strongly about them going to get another center now that kind of things have settled. I definitely think Adam Boqvist is traded. In terms of another center, someone I don't remember who.
Still want the Jackets to go after Nick Schmaltz. Like, I know Nick Schmaltz is not like I still think Nick Schmaltz is I wouldn't mind the Blue Jackets packing up Roslovic and Adam Boqvist and trading for a guy like Schmaltz. My
issue is that I feel like we have kind of and this is again something that I talked about with JD of Locked On Sharks last night when we were talking about a Roslovic trade, but we have such a logjam of players at the minute. It feels to me like we need to get guys out so there's room for everyone, and unfortunately I think Roslovic is kind of on the outside looking in. I think Adam Boqvist is on the outside looking in. Potentially guys like Jake Bean and Adam Peake, that's not right. Andrew Peake.
Yeah.
On the way out looking in, so it's tough to say. The problem with centers is I've been thinking about it, and someone commented on one of our videos, and I don't remember who it was. So if you're in the chat, I'm very sorry for forgetting who this was, but they talk about how we've been talking a lot about getting a center for Adam Fantilli to learn from. Is Boone Jenner not a good enough center to learn from, and you can move him to the wing, and again, I talked about this in the Jack Roslovic review episode that I posted this morning. Right now, the Blue Jackets have a lot of centers. Do they have a lot of good centers? No, but I feel like I wouldn't hate picking up a guy like Nick Schmaltz. I don't know what he's making off the top of my head. A guy, again, Kevin Hayes would have been perfect if they hadn't shipped him off to St. Louis. Someone like Elias Lindholm, I think, is probably a little rich for our taste right now, especially because he wants an extension. But I'm not against trading for an older center that is there exclusively to teach Adam Fantilli how to center good and do other things really, really good as well, If you'll excuse me making a reference to a movie from 2001. But it's going to be...
Nick Schmaltz is making quite a lot. He's making $5.7 million a year.
Yeah,
so that's pretty strong. I don't know if that's the way they want to go. Honestly, and I forget who answered the question, but I asked the question, excuse me, but I feel like the Jackets are fine where they're at center. Like, I feel good, especially getting Fantilli. And yes, does Fantilli need to learn from guys above him? Sure. But also, we've heard him say, he's a Patrice Bergeron and a Matthew Tkachuk fan. So it doesn't matter who we get. He's just probably going to end up watching tape on those guys anyway and trying to imitate his game after those guys. I say we just let Fantilli cook, I don't think we trust the coaching that's in the system now. We trust the centers that are in the system now. Boone Jenner is a great guy to learn from because that guy's totally remodeled the way that he plays the center position, and it's been really entertaining. I think the product that Boone Jenner puts on the ice is severely underrated. I'm just going to say that.
I agree. Big Boone Jenner fan. He's done a lot for this team and not had a lot of credit for it. I think he's been one of those guys that... there was a few seasons ago where, and I trot this stat out all of the time. I think it was the first Brad Larson year. He played left wing, center, and right wing on all four lines at one point in the season. You can't do that to a guy, and he did it and succeeded. One more question from the chat, and then we'll answer a couple of the pre-sent in ones. Do we look at the cap-friendly trade proposals? The general theme I see is most of the league's fans still seem to think they can nab Jackets players for cheap, Laine, Jenner, etc. from TC. So I don't look at cap-friendly trade proposals specifically. I do occasionally catch them as like a drive-by on Twitter. My personal favorite is one dude was like, hey, what if we trade Adam Boone? Okay, so the initial trade was Boone Jenner and Kent Johnson for Elias Lindholm, which made me laugh so hard I almost passed out. And then they revised that to let's trade Kent Johnson and Adam Boquist for Elias Lindholm, which is just as funny, but in a different way. And like, I can't tell if it's that people don't value Blue Jackets players. They think they can fleece Yarmo because he's made a couple of kind of iffy trades, or if they're just kind of bigging up their own players. And like, I've been guilty of that. I got roasted to heck and back when when we talked about the Austin Matthews, the potential Austin Matthews to Columbus trade. You know, people were like, wow, you value all of your prospects way too highly. There's not 5 players on Columbus that are good enough to be a replacement for Austin Matthews, blah, blah, blah. So I don't personally look at the cap-friendly trade proposals just because I feel like there's nothing good in there for me to see. But I do occasionally see some insane trade proposals, which I do get a good laugh out of, if nothing else.
I'm sorry, I just turned into a silhouette here for a second, so I apologize for that.
Turn the lights on the ring, which seems rude because it's Hayden Skelton.
Yes. All I gotta say is no, I don't really go on cap friendly for trade proposals. I mean, it's a good place to get a point of reference as to what is an even trade. Absolutely, and I'm never gonna discourage a fan for just sitting on their phone going through a trade simulator. Like, that's freaking awesome, man. Tell me what's coming out at the other end of that machine, please, because I love sitting here talking about hypothetical trades. But I honestly do feel really good about where the Jackets are at. Other than, like you said, trying to move some guys out, like I feel comfortable with this roster, Jay. I really do. I don't see the biggest question I have is a goalie, which we know that the talent's there. It's just a matter of, can Elvis get over the mental hurdle that has been in front of him over the last 2 years? And I don't know if he can. I honestly don't. That could be a player that a change in scenery could be really, really good for down the way. I don't want to, speak that into existence because I really, really want him to work out here. But he's been a weak part of the team the last couple of years, so there's a lot of pressure on him. Honestly, like, I don't sit here and think, oh, Yarmo needs to make another move to make this team playoff ready. Yarmo has put in the work this offseason enough for me to be like, he did something to make this team better and more competitive.
Yeah, I agree. I really, really want things to work out for Elvis. Like, long-time listeners of the podcast will know I am a huge Elvis guy. There's something there. Like, you can see flashes of the goaltender that he used to be, like, in his rookie season, and it's frustrating for me to watch, so it must be super frustrating for him. I can't tell. I think that's going to be a big part of the season. Like, we've seen it before with teams that are good, and then they just get absolutely tanked by average to worst goaltending. I don't think Elvis is going to be the worst goalie in the league like he was this year. I think improved defense. I think a new goaltending coach will help with all of that. But yeah, Elvis is a big question mark, I think, for the upcoming season. And I think this is almost a make or break year from him,
Yeah.
Let's go ahead. I have got a couple of questions lined up. Let's go with wonderful friend of mine, Mike Murphy, at Dig Deep BSB on Twitter. He runs the Ice Garden, which is the site formerly known as SB Nation. It's the women's hockey one. He does great work. He wants to know who your favorite Blue Jackets player was who was with the team for only one season.
My favorite player who was only with the team for one season. This answer is actually kind of easy for me. It's Sam Gagner. Sam Gagner.
Stole my answer.
Yeah, this guy was so awesome. Every time that an issue with the Power play. That's a really funny Locked On Sharks. Am I in witness protection? No, I just the lighting
Have you
changed.
considered? What if you turn the flash on your phone on and prop it against the laptop? That might. Give you
I
a little bit
did
of
do that. I did do that. It didn't help too much, but no, Sam Gagner, like the position that the way that he played the bumper position on the power play was unlike anything Blue Jackets fans will ever witness. So my favorite 1 year player has to be Sam Gagner. I mean, that dude was absolutely electric.
Yeah, he came to Columbus on one of those like league minimum show me contracts and then ended up getting paid because of it. Didn't work out. He's bounced around a couple of teams since then, but I believe he was in the league. I believe he played NHL games last season. You know, so
I want to say, was he with Vancouver? Was he with Vancouver?
With the Red Wings, I want to say. No, he was with the Winnipeg Jets.
Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah, somewhere up north.
No, he was definitely in the system. I'm just double checking. But he's played 1,000 NHL games. You know, like good for him. Yeah, he played 48 games for Winnipeg this season. You know, he's still around. He's I know Gagner was only there one season. I really hope that they would keep him because I liked him a lot. The power play was incredible with him. He was playing on the fourth line and also had like 10 power play goals in the first 25 games or something bonkers like that. Johnny Gaudreau is another really good answer, which is a cheat answer, but technically correct, which is the best kind of correct. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else from a little bit further back, just so we don't have the same answer. But like, I want to say
Sergei Fedorov.
Definitely my answer. I liked him a lot. I liked him when he was in Edmonton. I felt like he kind of got a little bit shafted by the team being so bad. And yeah, shout out to that guy. I think he's had a great career, even if it is a little bit kind of on the way round and about. Hayden's not a whistleblower, but he looks a little bit like he is one. It's very funny. I guess they turned the lights on because everyone arrived, which again is very funny.
I want to say real quickly, I said Sergei Fedorov in that list. Mm-hmm. He played 3 years. So before I get called out for not knowing puck, I'm sorry. He played 3 years. Matt Duchene's another guy, but he didn't really do much. He had a pretty sweet playoff game winner goal against the Bruins in that series. But outside of that, I mean, he didn't even play a full year. I'm trying to think of other like 1 year guys. I really wanted to
someone that like we're all forgetting, and someone's going to come in afterwards and be like, "Wow, I can't believe you didn't say this guy." But what we'll do is we'll move on, and probably what will happen is in like 10 minutes, someone's name will pop into my head, and I'll have to tweet it out because that's usually what happens. Jess Belmosto, host of Locked On Flames, and a very good friend of mine. We've had Johnny Gaudreau for a year now. What are your expectations for him this season? How do they differ from last season?
My expectations are for him to have another essentially point-a-game season. He had 74 points in 80 games this past year, but I'd like to see him have point a game. And I know if he does pretty much the same thing, that is, like I said, essentially point a game. But I expect his productivity to go up. He's going to have better players passing to him. He's going to hopefully have a healthy Zach Werenski playing on the back end. I mean, a lot of his goals that he scored early on in his year, he only scored 21 of them, but a lot of them that he scored came off the stick of Zach Werenski early on. So we haven't even seen that relationship fully blossom yet. So I'm really looking forward to that. My expectations are high.
Yeah. Something interesting about Johnny Gaudreau, I'm just going to go and look up quickly on Natural Stat Trick before I am wrong about it. His power play time, I feel like he didn't have a lot of God, where is it? Why can't I find this?
I'm trying to think of another 1 year player real quickly before you find that. I'm going to say Mikko Koivu, even though he didn't even play like 10 games with the Jackets. Yeah. He was a guy that I was like, I kind of like, this is a really good signing, and I hope that his veteran presence.
So set at center for like 5
30
minutes.
seconds. Yeah.
You know?
yeah.
Matt Duchene is another decent answer, I think. Even if he did immediately betray us and go down to Nashville, but like I don't hold that against him necessarily. He wanted to be a country music star, and so he did that. I can't find Johnny Gaudreau's power play points, but I think losing Zach Werenski did more to the offense than a lot of people think. I know that he's a defenseman, but he's a very offensively minded one, and I think that did a number, especially on the power play. The power play was god awful this year, and I think a lot of that is because Zach Werenski was missing for a lot of it. So having Zach Werenski back again, I'm going to knock on wood as I do whenever we talk about players being healthy this off season. It'll be interesting to see. I'm trying to temper my expectations in the same way that I'm trying to temper my expectations on the Adam Fantilli hype train. But if you give Johnny Gaudreau consistent line mates and you give him consistent ice time and you give him a healthy offensive defenseman to work with and you give him like a functional power play, I don't know that he'll hit 115 points again, but he might flirt with 100, you know?
Oh, he should definitely be flirting with 100, especially with a healthy Zach Werenski and
Healthy
with
Patrick
Adam
Laine
Fantilli now.
as well. We know Patrick
Healthy
Laine.
Patrick Laine,
you know?
and then just better defensemen overall. Like Severson and Provorov are both puck-moving defensemen. Like this, his numbers should go up. If he's going to play 80 games, he should be having 85 to 90 points easily, like in his sleep.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to get any slower. He's 28 years old, so it's not like the aging process has really started for him yet. I guess it's always going for him, but I mean, he's 28, so it's like, you know, he's got plenty of good years still ahead of him. Yeah, I'm expecting his productivity to just stay right where it's at, if not just exponentially grow.
Yeah, I think we're going to see the same Gaudreau, but his surrounding cast have gotten better. And that's always a good recipe for success. We're hovering about the half-hour mark at the minute, so we'll finish up. We've got one final question, and that's another Locked On host. They really came through for me with these with the Q&As. The Cleveland Monsters unveiled 3 new jerseys for this season. Which one's your favorite? I think these jerseys look incredible.
I have not seen these jerseys, so I'm going to have to put my hand up and apologize. It looks like I did see the new logos, which seems like they kept the very similar look, but just maybe tweaked the colors a little bit. And it looks like the colors that they went to were more based off that outdoor jersey that they wore.
That's
so
what it is. I really like the outdoor jersey. I have texted you a tweet with the jerseys in. Like that light blue home jersey, for me, that's the winner, baby. You know, the circular logo. I love a circular logo. The colors are so good. Do I finally cave and get a Trey Fix-Wolansky Cleveland Monsters jersey? Like, this might be my last chance to do so. He might be in the NHL full time. But that's where I'm at. I like all of them. I like the subtle change that they've done to like the regular logo. I think the M, like the stylized M shoulder logo, looks really great. But yeah, that light blue, that's a great jersey, man.
I think this is a hot take, I know, but I think it's appropriate. I think the Monsters have better uniforms than their parent team. I think they have better uniforms. I think
don't necessarily disagree with you.
I don't know. I just feel like what they have going on is really, really nice. And then just to wrap up here, I was also going to say, I said at the very beginning of this episode, you know, there's going to be tons of fans, new fans going to Blue Jackets games. Really, really frustrating for us hardcore fans. We have Ohio State hockey games to go to in town. We have Monsters games we can go to. I think as hardcore Blue Jackets fans, we all need to do a better job at supporting those two teams. So, yeah, that's my PSA.
Yeah, I'm also going to add to that the Ohio State women's team was just unreal this season.
Yes.
And I believe it's either like $2 to get in or you can just walk right in for free. Like, support women's hockey, support Blue Jackets hockey.
It's free. Their games
Ohio
are free.
Hockey, yes, I would absolutely think the same. If the Cannon third jersey is the best Jackets jersey, and that should be their permanent home jersey. In the same, like every year, some other team is like, we're going to use the third jerseys as our primary jerseys this season, and every season I'm like, man, what if that was the Blue Jackets? But yeah, support the Monsters, support Ohio State men and women. The women's team is better than the men's team, so like, and they get less funding, so like, especially support them. Kalamazoo is not super far away for hockey, I don't believe. And the Cincinnati Cyclones as well are, I believe, a New York Rangers affiliate now, but again, support ECHL hockey. I over here for one of my day jobs is I work for a third tier hockey team, and like the support we get from fans is like it's what keeps the lights on, and it's the same for the ECHL. So go support your local minor league hockey, support the Blue Jackets, support Locked On Sharks, but also support Locked On Blue Jackets. Since Hayden came on the show, and since we drafted Adam Fantilli, we've like doubled our content input. Like we're getting views and listens out the butt. It's incredible. It's really great. We appreciate all of you guys who come in and make this your first listen every day, even at 6:30 p.m. on a Friday when I'm sure most of you probably have better things to be doing. We really appreciate it, and I'm extremely psyched to see people in here and interacting in the chat, and everyone being super great. That's kind of all I have for that. I appreciate you. I'm sure Hayden appreciates you as well. Thanks, guys. This was fun. We'll do this again, I think, right, Hayden?
Yeah, I will happily drink beer again. That is a guarantee. That is a guarantee.
Maybe at home this time instead of at the rink. But
I can't guarantee
I'll
that.
go to the rink next time,
Yes.
and I'll sit up in my little press box about it. But
yes.
yeah, I think Hayden's gonna go jump on the ice now. I'm gonna go to bed because it's midnight. But thanks, guys. Like I said, it was really cool for you guys to come out and hang out for a little bit. I don't think we'll do this every week, but I would like to see if we can maybe do it every other week. If not once a month, we'll come, we'll have a chat. We'll catch up with Blue Jackets news. I didn't get to tell my the story that I was tweeting about earlier today about Pierre-Luc Dubois stealing my friend's umbrella. Maybe I will tell that next live show, so you all have a reason to come and listen to that. But for now, we've been Locked On Blue Jackets. You can find us at LO_Blue Jackets on Twitter. You can find me at _ Jacob Foster, JAKOBFORSTER. You can find Hayden at HaydenH971 on Twitter. And I think that's everything, right, Hayden?
I think that's it, man.
Yeah, so we'll let you guys go. I'll let Hayden go and skate. And until Monday, everyone make sure that you stay locked on.